10 paranormal scary ghost videos you should not watch alone. Hollywood loves to serve us great horror movies once in a while. When was the last time you were scared to death from watching a horror scene? In this video, we list a few of our favorite scary scenes. So here we go. Number 10, Katie's return. In this scene, the main character has grown up since the last time we saw her. Her name is Christy, and you can see from the footage that she is being haunted by a supernatural entity. We know it's difficult to watch, but there you go. Christy tries to fight the demon off, but to no avail. Eventually, it takes over her body and mind. The next thing you know, she's at her brother-in-law's house. The security footage showed her approaching him while he watched some TV from his couch. Before he can turn around to acknowledge her, she forcefully snaps his neck. Ooh, that was brutal. But there's more. Christy heads upstairs and confronts her own sister by throwing her into the wall with a flick of her hand. The sister is knocked out cold, but then Christy does something even more unimaginable. She picks up her sister's baby from the crib and walks out the door. Imagine a baby raised by someone who is possessed by a demon? Or perhaps, when the baby gets a little more mature, the demon fancies he can switch bodies. Number 9, Ghost Boy. This is one that involves an Xbox Kinect being used as a spectral ghost detector. You probably didn't know that certain tech gadgets are also useful for functions you can't even begin to contemplate. One of those is the Xbox Kinect, and usually it can cast a pixelated light in a darkened room, and everything in that room begins to look like an 8-bit game. In this clip, the little boy thinks it's the coolest effect in the world, but what he doesn't know is that the pixelated effect is able to cast the shadow of a ghost lagging behind him. The little boy loves the pixels so much that he sneaks downstairs in the night just to see them one more time. As he descends the stairs, he goes into the pixelated living room. The footage shows an apparition just behind him, and the boy seems to be talking to someone and insisting his name is not Hunter. The adult parent soon comes downstairs to his rescue. Number 8, Dragged Away. In this clip, you see Katie being forcefully dragged away from her bed by an invisible entity. She repeatedly screams for her husband Mika to help her. We don't see much else once they get outside the room, but eventually we see Mika consoling Katie as she cries. There were a lot more strange occurrences that night, one of which is Katie standing over Mika like she is in a trance. In another instance, the sheets are being dragged off the couple in bed and the door is being forcefully slammed. It goes to prove paranormal activity can get real, whatever the naysayers think. Number 7, Ouija board. Our favorite paranormal couple, Katie and Mika, make yet another appearance. It seems they love being bothered by ghosts. This time around, Mika has brought a Ouija board and wants to communicate with the spirits that have so far bothered him and Katie. You can hear Katie's disapproval in the background. She doesn't want anything to do with ghosts and evil spirits. Eventually, they go to bed and sleep on it. They are determined to resume their argument in the morning. That same night, the camera was pointed directly at the board. Mika has left it on the center table. All of a sudden, the pointy piece starts to move. Then the whole board catches fire right before our eyes. The next morning, Mika checks on it, and Katie can only say, she told him so. Number 6, Down the Well. This happened when Margot and her documentary crew visited an Amish community. She was there to reconnect with her long-lost family. You know how the Amish can be with the occasional runaway. But there, Margot was trying to meet with a family and lifestyle her birth parents had denounced at some point. In one of the compounds, the film crew stumbles upon a crudely dug well. Their escort tells them it's where dead goats are discarded. For the record, the well looks like a manhole, so there's nothing regular about it. We all know what a well is supposed to look like, but Margot asks to be lowered into it. As the camera records her descent, we begin to feel for her. What if she gets stuck? But then, we start to hear a strange noise coming from its walls. Margot is terrified and signals to the people above her to pull her out. The camera she is recording with jerks and gets out of focus. And then, the footage ends abruptly. Number 5, Bloody Mary. We all remember playing the Bloody Mary game as little kids, and we're not referring to getting drunk on the cocktail of the same name behind our parents' backs. Was it just us? Or did we all avoid playing the game as kids because the very thought of it creeped us out? In this footage, Katie and Christy are a lot younger. Their family must be really dysfunctional to crave paranormal experiences like this. In this one, the two little girls try the Bloody Mary game for the sake of it. The first time around, nothing happens, so they enlist the help of Randy, their male babysitter. So he points the camera towards the mirror as the girls chant the necessary words 3 times. Suddenly, the lights go off, and when they come back on, Randy has a gash on his belly that probably came from Bloody Mary herself. If I were Randy, I'd never volunteer to babysit Katie and Christy again. Number 4, bedsheet ghost. In this clip, Lisa is yet another babysitter who has finally put the kids to sleep. She is thankful to have a little time to herself. She's not your typical babysitter who would recline in the living room and watch TV till the parents get back. Instead, she hits the books to try and get some homework done. For the sake of the viewer, the camera is rigged to take a shot of what happens to Lisa as she studies. It swings the view to the living room, then swings it back across to the kitchen where Lisa is. You immediately see a ghost with a white sheet draped over it. The first impression you get is that the little girls are only trying to play a prank, but then the sheet and whatever is underneath it collapses before our eyes. And all the while, Lisa doesn't even know. Number 3, basement scene. Jesse is your typical adventurous teenager, and once he gets wind that the neighbor is dead, Jesse gets a rather strange idea. It is born out of the fact that he thinks his neighbor was a witch, and he wants to prove it beyond any doubt. So the plan is to sneak into the now abandoned house. He goes there with a friend and they start exploring. They quickly find a trap door that leads to a basement. Jesse decides it's a good idea to go into the hole, but we know better. It's a terrible idea. And Jesse soon regrets his decision. Once inside, his camera captures the image of 2 ghosts, and Jesse freaks out. He hurriedly starts to move towards the trapdoor to get out, but once he gets to it, it shuts itself. Now, Jesse is trapped with the ghosts of 2 little girls. Number 2, kitchen scare. This incident happened twice, perhaps to get the message across, whatever that was supposed to be. Christy is sitting alone in her kitchen when suddenly all the cabinets and collapsibles go boom. They have been forcefully opened all at once. It scares the hell out of Christina, as we are sure it will do the same to you. The sudden jolt will get anyone to make them jump in a fright. In yet another instance, Christy is walking past her kitchen and is forced to double back. Where has all the kitchen furniture disappeared to? Suddenly, all the kitchen stuff dropped to the floor, scaring Christy into running for her life. Apparently, the furniture and utensils were levitated by some supernatural force. And the scare factor is first amplified by the fact that the utensils and furniture are simply vanished. Then, to have them drop from the ceiling in that way, Christy is lucky she didn't get a heart attack. Number 1, witch house. Dennis's house is a witch's coven, and he is just now realizing it. After discovering some occultic symbols in his house, he stumbles upon a group of old hags walking down his corridor. At some point in the clip, his girlfriend Julie is killed mysteriously. Then, the camera pans out to show the burning of a cross in the yard. Eventually, Dennis himself is snuffed out, and the footage ends suddenly. So, that's it for this one. I hope you watched these clips in the company of others. Tell us how you reacted. Let us know about it in the comments section, and remember to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell button to see more of our videos.